92 members of the Chernobyl power plant operational personnel are being held hostage by Russian forces, the Ukrainian ambassador to the US Oksana Markarova said during a press conference in Washington, D.C. on Saturday. Because the power plant personnel are being held hostage, they are not able to work in shifts and follow the strict regulations that the power plant requires, she said. The responsibility of the power plant now relies on Russian forces and Russian army, Markarova said. Ukraine is reaching out to all nuclear regulators and other countries to alert them to the situation at Chernobyl, she added. In defending these plants, we are trying to be very responsible and careful so there is no damage to it. We can't say the same about the Russian Federation, so that's why we are warning and that's why we're reaching out to everyone, Markarova said. The White House on Friday condemned Russia for taking hostage civilian staff of the Chernobyl power facilities in northern Ukraine and demanded their immediate release. We are outraged by credible reports that Russian soldiers are currently holding staff of the Chernobyl facilities hostage, White House Press Secretary Jen Psaki told reporters on Thursday. This unlawful and dangerous hostage-taking, which could upend the routine civil service efforts required to maintain and protect the nuclear waste facilities, is obviously incredibly alarming and greatly concerning. We condemn it and we request their release. The Control Panel of Reactor Unit 4. Patrick Landman. Radiation levels increasing. Radiation levels are rising in the area of the Chernobyl exclusion zone in Ukraine, hours after Russian forces seized it during their invasion of the country, Ukrainian officials say, though not yet to concerning levels. There were fears that the Russian invasion of Ukraine could endanger the wreckage of the Chernobyl nuclear power plant, the source of one of the worst man-made disasters in history. Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky tweeted Friday morning that Russian forces were trying to seize the plant and the Chernobyl exclusion zone, the area around the plant left radioactive after the 1986 disaster. Less than 3 hours later, Zelensky advisors said the Russians had succeeded in taking the plant and surrounding areas. By late on Friday, Ukraine's parliament tweeted that radiation levels had exceeded monitoring thresholds at a number of sites to the north and west of the region. It was not immediately clear, though, if there was any damage to the wrecked plant, nor had the radiation risen to dangerous levels. Vyacheslav Chentsov, head of Ukraine's mission to both the EU and the continent's Atomic Energy Authority, said Friday that gamma radiation was rising in the area. Reports suggested the spike might have been from Russian tanks kicking up radioactive dust around the plant. Why did Russia take Chernobyl? Why would Russia make a radioactive wasteland one of its very first targets in Ukraine? While the full answer may be known only to top officials in Moscow, the site happens to lie along one of the most direct paths to Kiev, the Ukrainian capital. The location is important because of where it sits, retired Lieutenant General Ben Hodges, former commanding general of U.S. Army Europe, said in an interview with NBC News. If Russian forces were attacking Kiev from the north, Chernobyl is right there on the way, almost in the way. The nuclear disaster. In 1986, more than 30 people died after an explosion ripped through one of the Chernobyl power station's reactors. In the years and months that followed, many more people died from radiation symptoms. In the immediate aftermath, a steel and concrete sarcophagus was constructed to cover the damaged reactor and contain the radioactive material, but it has deteriorated since then, leaking radiation. In 2016, the new safe confinement arch was put in place to seal off the aging and hastily constructed sarcophagus. In 2020, the facility was handed over to Ukrainian authorities, according to the European Bank for Reconstruction and Development.